Are live. We are live. It says checking connection. So far we have two, we have three. Boom. This is it. Welcome everyone, wherever you are, and this amazing earth that we embody, not embody, take it back. We just live on. This is our Sunday Spirituality Meets Politics. My name is Stacy Harder, and my mother, Dr. Heather Harder, is our leader and commander. No, I'm just kidding. Of why and how we're here. So I'm going to let Heather say hello and tell us why we're here, Mom.
We're here because we want to. Um, there's a whole lot of things being said at lots of different levels, and some of it factual and some of it distracting.
Live. It says check. Sorry.
All right, what was that, Stacy?
It's the delay of the feedback, so it's just sort of what happens sometimes.
Okay.
So it's not there anymore.
No, it's not very nice. So we're going to ask the angels to protect the presentation. But anyway, and I've been playing in spirituality for 30 years and playing in politics for 10 years. And so I've been given a lot of information that really is for this time and space. And so we wanted a vehicle to share it and to answer questions and address issues so that we can move through this transition as easily and as peacefully and as calmly as possible. We're, as light workers, we're here to transform a planet, not just to free a country, not just to expose corruption, but we're here for a much bigger task. And sometimes by focusing on the issues in front of your face, you forget that the much bigger issue is going on simultaneously. And indeed, there are layers and layers and layers of things going on. So each week we get together and just remember what our true purpose is, our true mission is, and how to stay focused on the things that are important and love away those things that are not important to us and to our purpose. With that said, we'll be live on YouTube during the introduction and we do a little light work for the planet that, again, I was given from my spirit friends on things we can do to make a difference. And so we'll do that. And then we go into just the private Zoom chat. If you want to join us at the private Zoom chat, Stacy, you want to share the numbers? On Sunday night, it's a political conversation with spiritual overtones. And that number is?
Zoom is 831-755-38434. And that is Zoom. So again, 831-755-38434. Yes.
And then Thursday nights, we do a Zoom conversation that's just all spirituality and conscious living and, really how we recharge ourselves to be the best us we can be. That number is, Stacy, do you have it?
Thursdays? I know it by heart. It's 428-733-218. So again, that is 428-733-218. And that is every Thursday.
And you can contact Stacy or I to get the information in case you lose it.
Yep.
Or forget it or anything else. And then I also do remind you that it is important every day to bubble yourself, ask for truth, guidance, and protection. You can bubble yourself with light and love and all those kinds of wonderful things. Every day is a new day by design. Nothing comes into the new day from the day before except that what you think about or what you bring forward. So it's really important that you remember every morning to start your day asking for truth, for protection and guidance. And there's no magic formula for how to do that. It's the intention. And so you can do it as easily as just being grateful, sending out your love and appreciation that you do recognize truth and that you are always protected and guided into your divine destiny. And we're all fulfilling our divine destiny. We're all meant to be leaders on this planet, not followers. And each of us are leading in a different area with different things. And so that's the first thing that we always do. A reminder that even on these calls, protection, guidance, and truth, because people are saying all kinds of things, including me, and you can have it scrambled in your brain so you don't even recognize it. And so recognizing and being able to live truth is extremely important. And in this day and age, there's just so much misinformation coming from all sorts of sources. So never say, oh, this is a good guy, therefore I can listen to him all the time, because that good guy, as you talk about somebody who aligns with your beliefs, may be accurate 99% of the time, but that 1% of the time can really screw you up. So never put your guards down. Always ask for and allow yourself to recognize truth. Truth happens in the body. When you hear truth, when you feel truth, it's a vibratory resonance. Some people in their heart, some people in their gut, some people just know. Doesn't matter how you feel, it's about allowing it and really experiencing it. The mind is the trickster. So if you hear yourself creating stories, filling in the blanks, giving explanations for something, that's the mind. That's where we're most often fooled. That the Native Americans say the mind is the trickster, the coyote. So we want to listen to our heart, listen to our body, and act accordingly. Jennifer, when you first came in, you had your hand up. Was that intentionally? Did you want to say something? No. Okay. And at any point in time, you're welcome to ask a question, make a comment, do whatever feels right to you. And you do that by electronically raising your hand, as Jennifer did, or the old-fashioned wave your fingers and we'll know that you want to speak. And as we move into the open part, you can all be unmuted as long as you've got a quiet background. Before we go to the set using the light, anybody have a question? Anybody have a comment? And you can write in the chat box. If you're online, you can write your comments there. Or you can ask them.
We have is, of course, our friend Mafioso. They did a study on gratitude and determined that expressing gratitude actively instead of or just feeling grateful has the most beneficial effects on the brain chemistry.
It's exceedingly powerful, and especially when you're manifesting, if you're giving gratitude for that, what you're asking for, what you're visualizing, and being grateful for that, you actually increase your manifestation power. So it's a very, very powerful tool to use. Just being grateful, being happy, being accepting of what's going on. Sometimes it's a habit that we get into to whine about what went wrong or who did what, or recounting every blow of some argument that went on. But it doesn't help anything, and you're actually amplifying that negative energy. Better to imagine everything working out perfectly. For instance, we've already talked a little bit about the children who are being exploited right now around the planet, and just see them dancing and playing and seeing them be happy and free and being well cared for and literally being grateful the universe is bringing that into creation, that all the children on this planet, no matter what their culture, what their race, what their economic level, what their environment is, that they're happy, they're well cared for, they're being recognized as the wondrous gift they are, and that they're safe. They're just safe. Many of you have dealt with lots of issues that have come to pass through your own experiences in life where you don't feel safe, and that manifests in lots of different ways with issues of control and manipulation and domination, all those other things, because we don't feel safe. So we have to do the things to protect ourselves from this unsafe world. Well, these children who are learning those lessons right now, by our visualizing them being happy and safe, we free them from having to go through that releasing process that we've had to go through. We just want to recognize and allow that to happen. And the gratitude to the parents who birthed them and who brought them into this world and who are now struggling for their own balance and healing. So we just give gratitude for that. Much, much better when you feel yourself going into past experience to whine about the election results or who did what to whom or why someone is being unjust to you. Better to catch yourself, cancel that energy, and move into a gratitude of whatever the flip side of that is. If someone has wronged you, go into being grateful for all those who treated you well, for all those who supported you and helped you, all those who have blessed you in various ways, and recognize that even these lessons that aren't always fun to experience are blessings. As Will Rogers says, no man is your friend, no man is your enemy, but every man is your teacher. And I would like to expand that to include both genders, that everyone is your teacher. And so when you get these experiences, that you literally can go into gratitude for the lesson they have just taught you. And every time you learn a lesson, you become more empowered. You become more confident in dealing with that the last time. And what I call the sacred spiral, you will go through an experience. Let's say you're taken advantage of here and you'll go through a spiral, you'll come back to it, but now you're in a different experience. So you have a different kind of experience with that same lesson to see how you're going to handle it this level. And if you get that, you come around and you get through the experience again with a bigger issue. So that's how we grow and challenge ourselves in a sacred way. So if you find yourself going through these patterns or these similar lessons, just take the time to acknowledge and appreciate and be grateful for your growth, because you're now handling it different than you would say a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And being grateful will cause that to come to pass much faster. So thank you, Wofiofo, which I will slaughter your name forever, but it comes with love. Okay, so let's, and I've said before, light is the most powerful force in all the universe. It's hard to imagine that we have in our essence the greatest tool for all situations and all things. You know, what comes to mind, some of those Star Wars movies where they're fighting other starships and they're shooting out these lasers and these lights and these bombs and stuff. Imagine those lights that they're sending out. It's just lights. They're just laser. We now know we can cut down mountains with just light. That's just energy. And we can now, with our little satellites in the skies, we can shoot those things over thousands of miles. It is amazingly powerful. Your consciousness and your access to that light is more powerful than any of those machines, any of those laser cannons, any of those things being done. You will be tested at each level that you are. So let's say you're on a scale of 1 to 10. Let's say you're at a 3 right now. You can send laser light out. You can send that energy of transforming power to anything now at your level 3. As you move up through the different levels, you are literally tested to make sure you wouldn't misuse it. If you misuse it, then you don't go any further till you learn whatever lessons you need. But you will go through various tests to ensure that you would never misuse the energy. And then as you do that, your energy becomes much more powerful. So trust that you have the light and love to use at your disposal at the level that you can handle it, never more than you can get yourself in trouble for. And then it just continues to grow the more responsibly you use it. Light and love is always unconditional. If you send light to do something with a determined outcome, it is no longer unconditional love. It becomes a process by which you're interfering with other people's free will, and it incurs karmic debt, and you also take on whatever karmic issues you're interfering with the other person. So just as that birthday present, I give Stacy $100 for her birthday. She can use it any way she wants. That's unconditional. But if I give her $100 to pay her light bill, for instance, that is now a conditional gift and literally manipulate her reality. I can do that with my $100. I can't do that with love and light. With love and light, I give it freely. The person who receives it then can use it as they see fit. And so that's the only thing that you can do to get yourself in trouble. If you are sending love and light to heal this person, to fix this person, to free this person, anytime you're using light, love and light for a purpose, for an outcome, then you are misusing it, and your ability to use it will go down, because they will not let you misuse that power. But it is amazing, and all it is your intention. You have the most incredible resources available to you if you will just step up and use them. Any questions, comments before we just do our little exercise? And again, I've been speaking to spirit for over 30 years, and so this was a exercise I was given that is very powerful for helping the earth's vibration. So I do it freely. It's written in all of my books so that you can see it written down if you want to. Please feel free to do it as often as you see fit, but always freely given. So with that, we're going to just go to our place of center. When you go to center, even in your imagination, it is the place of alignment. That is where you are aligned with all of your assistants, helpers, guides, forces. You are most then accessing all that's in your power. And we are here to anchor heaven to earth, that spiritual heavenly energy to our planet. When we go to center, we are aligning with those forces of light, with love. And then just imagine you being a light and love, because your true nature is just light and love. The same as the divine oneness, the source of all creation. We're all the same essence. So if you will, just imagine being that light and love and combining with all those in the physical realm and the non-physical realm who are here to serve this planet. We just combine this energy into one heavenly blob. And then we send this into the earth, filling every cell in, on, and around this planet with this light and with this love. And as we've talked earlier about the different tunnels and caves and crevices within the earth, we fill all of those with love. And anyone in those openings in the planet are filled with love as well. And we send love and light to every cell of every creation in, on, and around this planet with our love. And your eyes are not magic, but I find when I close my eyes, I'm able to sort of separate myself from the physical world a little better and tune more into the spiritual world. But your eyes do not make a difference in your intention. And then we send light and love out into the atmosphere, surrounding this planet with our light and with our love. The atmosphere is to this planet as our skin is to our body. It's extremely important protective covering. And we just want to love it. And we want to send love and light to all those who are playing with it. There are those who have a different agenda, and they don't want the planet to evolve into a fifth dimensional consciousness. So they're interfering with the atmosphere. They're interfering with the earth. And we're going to love them too. They have their own agenda. And our job is to love them. And then we love all the weather patterns on the planet. Weather patterns are a very important force of balancing for the earth. And we're going to love them. And we have people on the earth who are using these weather patterns for a tool for manipulation, for disturbances of others, not letting nature take its course, but altering it, and we're going to love them as well. We're playing in a very important drama that's unfolding on this planet, and we have forces from all over the world just to observe. But our job is to be active participants. And we're going to send love into the mass consciousness on the planet. That collective consciousness of all those who've ever been and ever will be on this planet. We're just going to love it. Imagine just pumping it full of love. And then on this planet, we have leaders. We have political leaders and business leaders and organizational leaders. Some are working for the greater good, and some are working for their personal good. Some are working for the divine intentions, and some are working on their own agenda. And we're just going to love them all. Love all those who influence, who assist, who make a difference on this planet. And our job is just to love them all. We have a political leader that came into power recently. We had a political leader that went out of power recently. Love them both. The divine plan is perfect and is unfolding. And our job is just to support and love the divine plan. It is perfect. The internet, the various media forms, are being used to inform and to incite. They're being used to help and to hurt. We're just going to put our love and light through all of it. Let our vibrational divinity spread through this connection, this energetic connection around the planet, so they can't carry and deliver love. And then we have the lovely virus that's been visiting many on this planet, and we're just going to love it as well. And those who are using this virus for a personal agenda, we're going to love them as well. Just see them all become surrounded with love, surrounded with light. And again, ask the divine plan, be grateful the divine plan is unfolding and that you're a very important part of it. And then all those who are part of this conversation or any conversation that are working to free and bring truth to this planet, sovereignty to its people, we're going to love them and be grateful for them. Regardless of their message, our job is just to love them. Vibratorily, we change that experience, but we don't do it to change the experience. We do it because we are love, and love is our tool of choice. We just love them unconditionally. And then universal law says, whatever you send out, you must receive. So if you will, just open your heart, open your body, open your intentions to receive for the highest and best good of you and all concerned. Just let this energy come back to you, becoming a part of who you are, filling every cell with love and light, empowering our heart and soul to hear the divine as it speaks to us, and have the courage and trust to act on that internal message, to tune up our ability to discern truth, to feel truth, to trust truth, and to recognize when something doesn't feel right, doesn't resonate as truth. So it may leave it And last week we were shown this chart of evil. Evil is that which goes against the flow of life. It is not a judgment, it is a statement of fact. And right now there are many, many people, beings, forces that are acting against the divine plan, and we're just going to love them as well. So imagine all those evil energies, people or beings, just being filled with love and light. The only way to conquer evil, to neutralize evil, is to love it. The more you fight evil, the more you empower it. Love your enemies, we are told. You're just going to love them. And again, this energy comes back to you. Just take it in. Take a deep breath and anchor this energy. It is truly a part of who you are. And when anyone and anything disturbs you, send them love. When someone is acting out of integrity, don't judge them, send them love. In every situation, love is the solution. And when you're ready, just come back to the here and now. Just taking a deep breath. And just feel how it feels to be an agent of love. So be it. And I invite you to do this whenever you feel like it. It took us probably, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. You can do it in a minute. Just zip, 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 because you're all powerful. Any questions or comments now? Stacy, anything on the write-up page?
Gabe, formerly Michael from
Oh,
Australia.
okay.
Australia friend, he said he loves your hair and it's so bouncy.
Twice a week I do my hair. Guess which days they are?
Thursdays and Sundays.
So thank you for noticing.
And
I
then
appreciate the kind words.
we talked about the lasers. Mafioso was talking about it's like a lenses used for real lasers. The higher the laser power, the more clear the crystal used for the lens need to be. Otherwise, the impurities of the crystals cause refractions that destroy it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you, Art.
It was really amazing, by the way. I was,
Thank you.
when I went in, I was working, right? And then I realized that everybody was, in, and that was really beautiful, by the way. It's really beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, this stays on Stacy's Facebook page, or no, YouTube channel.
Okay.
So you can go back and revisit whenever you want. And every week it's a little different. And there's a similar pattern, but it changes each week based on what I'm given to do. So, but thank you for being a part of it, because the more people, when two or more come together, literally the energy we create collectively becomes more empowered.
Right.
And so you're
Right.
a special part of our group.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say I loved it too. It was very
Mm,
synchronicities, I guess. Many, I needed it. Thank you.
yes. Right.
Well, it recharges our batteries.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, that's how we're supposed to feel. Calm, serene, peaceful. We forget because the world gives us so many other choices. And so it's easy to choose chaotic or angry or all the other kinds of things. It's like, but that's not who we are. That's not our true nature. So it's just a reminder to come back to our true self. But thank you.
Right.
All right.
The last
there's
comment is Mafioso saying, an agent of love sent from the heavens above.
Thank you. Tell them I'm still working on postage to wherever that is. I've got it written down.
I know where it is.
Slovenia.
That's very soothing and vibrant at the same time. And that's, to me, that is, we do this practice at least twice a week together, as you can with us now. And so for me, that's a simple practice that really energetically brings you back to your center, your alignment. And so again, it's all about intention. And I love, it's so true, what you give out, so too shall you receive tenfold. And so it's really important time, especially as we're moving into that faster, quicker, easier, instant karma. Like this is coming so fast. So it's really important to always keep your heart.
And I was given this experience. I've told the story several times, but I'll tell it again because I think it's well worth repeating. Back in '92, when I was beginning my spiritual journey and had begun talking to spirit, I was listening to the news, and they were reporting that the weather patterns over the Mississippi had frozen, and that Mississippi was flooding and overshooting its banks and flooding the farms. And it just hit me like a bucket of cold water. Nothing in nature ever freezes. It is not, nature is a changing, ever dynamic process. If nature was freezing, then something or someone was screwing with it. And so I immediately went to spirit and said, okay, what's going on? Why is the weather pattern freezing? And they said, the man who will become known as the Antichrist, to never ever call him the Antichrist, because that will actually empower him. But the man who will become known as the Antichrist was beginning to play. And he was playing with the weather patterns. He was freezing the weather patterns. And I said, why? What's he going to freeze the weather patterns? And they said, because they're affecting the farms, the breadbasket in the Midwest, and that if they make people hungry enough, they'll sell their soul for a loaf of bread. And it's like, okay, that makes sense. So now what do I do? What's my role in this now that I've recognized it? I said, should I go in and free the weather patterns? And they said, no. To do that would make me no different than he, that I was just to love the weather patterns and love the man who will become known as the Antichrist, which we now lump into all the leaders on the planet. And so, and they gave me the earth, the weather patterns, the mass consciousness, and the man who will become known as the Antichrist, which I've now expanded into political leaders and everything else. So I called two friends, because I do believe when two or more gather, it's more powerful. So I got two friends. We were in the sacred space of my driveway, and we did this, which took maybe 2 minutes. Immediately when they announced the weather, the next go round on the news, the weather patterns had broken, the flooding had stopped, or the rain had stopped, and then the flooding was receding. And I thought, wow, how powerful that is. And I've since done it several times and actually been able to see the impact. You have to I know how powerful we are. I know I have total trust in my spirit connections and stuff. Other people are just learning how powerful they are. They're learning how to use this energy in a meaningful and conscious way. And so it's just really important to do, because we're in battle. And I hate the analogies of war, but right now the divine plan is about neutralizing the evil that's on this planet. And again, as I say, evil is not a judgment. It's that which goes against the flow of life. There's a natural order of everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whose dog is barking, but you can mute yourself if it is. Anyway, so the more we recognize the power we have to use this love and light, the more powerful we are. And to neutralize evil is just to love them. Evil is by spiritual design. Anything that is evil has to be neutralized. It's self-extinguishing. It cannot sustain itself. It's like a candle that burns out. There's only so much, and then it's gone. It cannot sustain itself without some kind of infusion, which is why in the cycles of evil that we have going on the planet, they have to keep recruiting. They have to keep pulling an energy from other sources to sustain their life. I'm going to leave this on recording, then we'll go dark. But I actually, I don't know if you can see this. Oh, there we go. Tell me when it's good, Stace.
It's good.
Okay, you can see the circles all around outside this outer edge is humanity. And so if we can imagine this is 8 or 9 billion people on the planet, this first level of evil is the evil that we see. It's the evil that we know. And that's always sucking in, pulling in anyone they can into this first band of evil. That's the visible evil. That's the people who are corrupted. Usually it's manipulation, it's control, it's blackmail, it's your excesses, your various addictions. It's all of those ways that you're pulled into this first level of evil. From humanity, we go into this first level of evil. My spirit friends say that's about 10% of the population of the planet. I did the math. If we have 8 or 9 billion people out here, we'll use 8 billion people, then in this first band of evil, we have about 8 million people. You know, that's our politicians. That's the Bernie Madoffs that we see. Those are the evil that we see. They're the least dangerous, but we know who they are. We can recognize their behavior. That's the first level of evil, and that's the easiest to attack. And the more we love them, the more we allow them to confess their sins. And it really is important that we don't move into judgment, because many of them will have to step forward to expose the next layer. And right now on this planet, we're literally dealing with this first level of evil. You know, when we're talking about the corruptions of our elections, when we're talking about the corruptions of these other countries who aided and abetted, that's the visible. They're the least dangerous, but they're the most prevalent. As we move into the next level of evil, our next circle, and we'll see. Oh, I know. I can know. Hold a second. I'm going to do my best to do a screen share.
You
Oh,
get it, Mom. You don't need a screen share. It's okay.
I what?
You don't need a screen share. It's perfect. We know
Yes.
it's
Okay, so the next layer is what I call the semi-visible corruption, and that's those families, the Rothschilds, the Bilderbergers, the Trilateral, all those things that have names. You know, if you can name it and identify it, it's the next level of corruption. It is not the most dangerous, but it is one step more intense. I'm told spiritually that it's about 1/2 of 1% of this 8 million people are in this next layer of corruption. If I've done the math correctly, that's about 4 million. It went from 800 million in the first level of corruption to 4 million people in the next level. They're more dangerous. Again, every inner circle is sucking people, recruiting from this next layer. So there's constant movement from humanity to the level of corruption. How much is it going to take to buy you for $5 million? Would you do X, Y, and Z? There are some sources that say that Biden sacrificed his wife for something, and that he sacrificed Hunter Biden's wife and child for something, and then in that process Hunter is retaliating and actually intentionally left the evidence on his computer. So who knows? We don't know if Hunter Biden is working for the light by exposing these things, or if he's working against the light. Doesn't matter. It's just, we just have to recognize and send him love, because we're going to need a lot more people to turn and share the story in order as we go in. it's easy to prosecute and recognize the outer band and even the next band. As we go in, it gets more difficult and it gets more seedy. The next level is again about 0.5% of that band coming in, and they're the layers that are the invisible power control. They're the ones that we don't see. They're the ones that are the cabal. What's a cabal? We don't know, but they're out there where we know they exist. But they're about 0.5% of this, what we'd say, semi-visible group. And that's about 20,000 people. Okay, so now we're 4 layers in, and we've got one more layer in, which is truly the puppet masters, truly the brokers. They're not, at this point, coming in mainly human, or at least people who present themselves as human. But it's much bigger than that. And that's why they're so hard to recognize and deal with, because we're given so much propaganda that we are the only people in the universe. And of course, if you believe in aliens, you must be crazy. And if you believe that these things are on the planet, you've got to be nuts and, all this stuff. So we're force fed to doubt our own knowings or what we truly believe. But that next level of puppet masters, the invisible power brokers, are pretty much an alien race. They're working with humanity when they have to, but they're pulling the strings. And so we've moved from humans in this outer level into this reptilian and many life forms, but reptilians are primary because they think the planet belongs to them. After all, they were here earlier. Why should they give it up to humanity? And it's not that they're mean or cruel or horrible people. It's just they have a different culture. They have a different lesson. We have our little friend, what's his name? Elon Musk, who wants to colonize Mars. He's sending crap into Mars atmosphere to alter the atmosphere, to change it so humans can go there and colonize. And we think, oh yeah, that's no problem. Elon Musk can do that. He's got the money to do that. Well, that's what these reptilians are doing. And we have over 50 kinds of aliens living on the planet right now. Most we don't know or deal with or care about. But the ones that are working, and many of them are working for the light. They're also the light workers at different planets. But there are those who have their own agenda, the reptilians, and not all reptilians are working against the divine plan, but that's the primary race. They were here first. They think it's their planet, and by God, they don't want a good oxygen level. They don't feed off that. So they're alternating. They're killing the sun so the planet can change its temperature. They don't care about humans as far as a species go. We're just a resource for them. And so I've been a vegetarian for over 30 years. So eating your live things is really repugnant to me. But a few months ago, I rescued a bearded dragon. And it's the most incredible Zen thing that I've ever experienced. But nonetheless, I have to feed it live bugs. I have to feed it live worms. And it's a horrible experience. And the only way I can do it is just like really not think about the life form called this Dubian roach, or this life form called a superworm. I just feed it and then do my best not to think about it. But in taking on this bearded dragon, I've also taken the responsibility of giving it what it needs to survive. And so if you think about the reptilian life forms, it's sort of the same thing. We're just a resource. Like we gather wild horses and break them and use them for tools and for our own resources and our own pleasure and our own entertainment. That's kind of the view they have on humans. It's not that humans are bad or they hate humans. It's just that we're insignificant. They have a much longer life. They've been here for longer times. And they have been here when humanity's gone through many of its developmental phases, and they think they're entitled. And what they're doing is changing the planet to serve their needs without regard to humanity's right to live on this planet. Humans, this planet was destined and created for humanity to live in a physical body. This is the gift. The physical body is the gift of this planet. And we are here to sort of say, okay, reptilians, go colonize another planet that doesn't have humans on it. Go live someplace else, do something else. And so that's the struggle we're at. We are here struggling against evil. And so this struggle between good and evil is what we're about. Every time we get angry or upset or move into chaotic energy, we're feeding the evil. That's exactly the energy they want and they like. The more we can be in light and love and joy and peace and serenity and all those things, that's the energy that is a repellent to them. And so we have lots and lots of support from other realms, and we're here to make a difference. Biden, Trump are only the visible form of this struggle, but there's and they're the lowest level of engagement that we can see and participate in, but our responsibility and mission is much bigger than that. And that's sort of the summary. If we take this 20,000 people in the third level and move it into the next level, which is the power brokers, 0.5% is about 100 people. 100 people are manipulating the 8 billion. And if we take that into the inner circle, those who are literally the master of this whole struggle, I'm told there's 3. Half of 1% would make it 5. So 3 to 5 beings are manipulating 8 billion. And it's, again, the reason why it's so incredibly important. And I never, as those people who've been with me know, that I've never, ever recommended another book that I haven't written. This is a book that I think is imperative that people read right now. And it's the name, How to Kill 11 Million People. And it's written by Andy Andrews. You can look him up on YouTube, and there's lots of different shows that he's done. He's amazing, fabulous energy. And he's done a lot of interviews on this book, but it's literally, how did so few Nazis manage to kill 11 million able-bodied people? And bottom line is, they lied to them. And those people that were tricked accepted it. They didn't question the lies, even though some of them may have gone, not so sure this is the truth. They didn't question, they didn't resist, they just went along. And from my spirit friends, I was told that the reason the Holocaust happened was to teach us what will happen in this lifetime if we do nothing. Doing nothing is absolutely the worst thing that you can do. If you get up in the morning and brush your teeth and send love to the planet, you're doing something. The more somethings you do, the more you make a difference. But I do recommend this book, How to Kill 11 Million People by Andy Andrews. It's very easy read, very, very piece of cake, but it's exceedingly important for this day and age. We cannot pretend to accept lies. We just can't. Ta-da! So, and if you think about these waves of people just recruiting inwards, and as they recruit inwards, they become more vile, more anti the whole life. And then we get to the people who are doing the horrendous things that I'm not going to mention. If
Well,
I don't want to.
Yes, and I think just going back to that simpleness of speaking your truth is so important. And so whatever that truth is, whatever you're feeling, and I know most of you are people that do share and go, question things, like that's so important because we don't know the impact of other people. And it's to me, you can always go back to, are you wanting to know truth? And if you can get people to say, yes, I want to know truth, then their guides, their spiritual team can also involve, they give their body permission at a level because they're choosing to know truth, then they can start to discover that and find that. And each person's path is different. I think all of us have come to our different things around politics and spiritual differently. It's different experiences because we're all unique in this experience. And so the most important is coming back to that truth inside of you. What are you feeling? What are you being guided to do? Are you guided to respond? Are you guided to post? Are you guided to just send love? It's listening to the guidance within you is one of the most important things that we can do in this moment and in this time. So please follow your heart, send love, speak your truth. And what is truth? Go in, ask questions. What is truth? How does truth feel? And then look at something and then look at the opposite side. And where do you feel truth is? Because it's like Mom said, it's an internal navigation system.
And I'm told there are more spiritual people in the closet than there are gays. We know for so long on this planet, the gays were afraid to be who they were because they didn't want to be judged or they didn't want to, get the arrows coming back to them for their beliefs and behaviors. And that's sort of how many spiritual people are now. I know when I was a university professor, and when I started talking to dead people, the people who loved me the most were the ones that attacked me the most. How can you do this? This is so stupid. Why are you jeopardizing your credibility? And so it was not easy to stand in my truth, even though I had all the trappings of sanity and whatnot. In my book, Many Were Called, Few Were Chosen, in my acknowledgement, I thanked my parents for teaching me to stand tall in the face of adversity. What I didn't say is the way you learn to stand tall in the face of adversity is by handling it. My parents gave me all my adversity, or a lot of it, so I learned to stand tall. And if you can do it with your mother, who you're ripping her heart out. She wasn't doing it on meanness. It was like, oh, Heather, please, what will the neighbors say? If you can stand up to that, you can stand up to anything. So it's just real important that this is the time where, and questions are much more powerful than statements. Andy Andrews' book is more powerful because he doesn't say, this is the answer. He says, how do you kill 11 million people? And that makes us wonder, how do you kill 11 million people? And there were only thousands of Nazis, and yet they killed 11 million people. That's what we have to wake up. The outcome of this is very important. Divine plan is perfect. The earth is going to transition into fifth dimension. It is going to be a place of light and love. There's already a planet for those who still want to continue in the third dimensional me versus you, my team versus your team kind of mindset. They'll be there. But how we do it is what we're determining. Are we going to do the easy route by just becoming more light and love? Or are we going to have to go through a whole lot of hell in order to experience heaven? That's the choice that we're in the middle of.
Okay, are you ready to go to our private conversation where we can get more?
If you'll check the online people and see if there's any questions or comments there, and then we'll go private. And then you guys can talk and say whatever you want without.
And again, you're welcome to screenshot if you're watching this. So that way you have the number. And
I don't know about anybody else, but I could not get that number and that speed if you're putting up. Okay, there you go. Stay there for a second. Stay there for a second.
You got to let me talk, otherwise it doesn't go to you. All right, so 831-755-38434. So feel free to join us on Zoom. It is with my pleasure to say thank you for joining us.
Was there anything down there for comments or questions? Okay. Well, I'm Heather at heatherharder.com. If you have a question, feel free to email me.
And remember, we do this every Sunday, same time, 4 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then this is the same. And then we also meet Thursdays for Cosmic Conversations. It's a lot like this, and it's also open, and Mommy's do Spirit Sprinkles. And just to let you know, we do have, for $22, there is a workshop class on Tuesday that is taught by Heather. And it is letting go, learning how to release and to step up into trust and surrender. So it's going to be a 2-hour workshop. And again, Tuesday, same time, 4 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. And again, that's a $22 donation. You're welcome to donate more if that's what you feel called to, but we like to do it so you can join us in that process. And then also, Mom will be starting in February her Spirit Sprinkle. She's doing a 4-week intend, basically get you coaching by, say, Spirit Sprinkles intensified. So if you've been around Spirit Sprinkles, it can be everything from Akashic Records, Spirit Guides. It's in all of your energiness to get you kind of where and what you want to go. And that starts from 111 up to 444, depending on if you want private sessions once a week with her. The private sessions are 444, and then you get a 20-30 minute with the class. So it's kind of fun. I highly recommend her. She's been my personal spiritual coach and empowerment coach my entire life, and I couldn't have chosen more magical mom. So
Okay.
thank you.
Goodbye to all the people online, and now we just go to Zoom people.
Also, Spirit, the many were called, few were chosen. I have it on my YouTube where I read it chapter by chapter as well. So I love
And if you become a follower of Stacy's YouTube channel, she'd be deeply grateful. She's got 29 now.
30.
So let's 30. Okay. So let's get her to 100. So everybody tell their friends to go and connect to Stacy. And these calls are all posted to hers.
Yeah. And if you ever want to go back and do the meditation, I highly recommend doing it. It's something that I like to do every day and before I go to bed. So I love you. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey. And we're in this together.